Ed McCaffrey earlier today, before the game, said that he thought it was clear that Brock Purdy is playing better football than he was last year. And I agree with him. I think it's clear also. We've been talking about this, but that means a lot coming from Ed McCaffrey, who obviously watches the 49ers very closely. And I think he's right. And I think, of course, he's right. Of course, Brock Purdy is playing better football this year. I said this all offseason when people want, like, how are the Niners going to be better? Well, Brock Purdy's going to be better. Why is he going to be better? Because he's got a whole offseason with the coach. He's healthy. He can focus on football. That's all he's got to do. And commercials, but mostly football. He's got a whole camp. He was taking every third day off of camp. They were trying to figure out a quarterback battle behind him. This year, totally different experience. And he worked on his explosion. As somebody who thinks he's going to get away a lot of the time, he still gets out of spots that I don't think he's going to get away from. And I don't love when he uses that power to just run backwards and do these sideways, these 360 spins with his back to the field and then gets the ball away from like 17 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Don't love all those plays. But first drive of the game, let's go through this. First drive of the game, he breaks a tackle on 3rd and 2 from their own 12-yard line. Jerome Baker, I think the linebacker, came up to make a play. And that was not a trick play. That was not a juke play. That was I think I'm fast enough to go get there. And so many young quarterbacks get a wake-up call in the NFL when they try to make that play because they're just not as fast as they were in college. And so here you've got a young guy who burst onto the scene and is improving his athleticism. And it was already kind of a strength of his, right? But that was really impressive. That was really impressive. I think what's great about him is he doesn't have to play, a perfect game. You get to a point with quarterbacks when they're in their prime or even as they're ascending, definitely once they've reached the point where they've proven themselves, where every throw, every game is not a referendum. You know what I love to say? The most invisible superpower is invisibility. But the second most invisible superpower is consistency. And when you throw with as much anticipation and touch as Purdy throws with, you have to be consistent in your decision-making, your anticipation, and your accuracy. And he is proving over time things that if you do them for a game or for a week or two or for a season even, we go, I don't know, can you really keep it up? But he is proving to be able to keep it up. Didn't love the call on 3rd and 1, but it worked. Debo had to save him. That wasn't a great throw. We talk about his arm a lot, and that part of the reason he has to be so accurate and decisive is because he doesn't have the strongest arm in the league, right? He's got an average-ish arm. But he made some throws today. I don't change everything about his arm that I've said, but he did make some throws today that was like, oh, okay. And I thought on the first drive, they had a 1st and 10 at the 28-yard line. And Brock runs around for 7 seconds, and he ends up on his back foot having to throw over the middle to Juwan Jennings at the 10-yard line. And he did it. I mean, I don't remember exactly what it was, but I know it was an 18-yard gain. So he probably threw that ball, my guess would be about 27, 20, 28 yards, 26 yards, somewhere in that range, air yards. And it was a really impressive throw because he did not have time to step into it. So that was another throw I just made a note of, like, okay, wow. Second possession. He had a weird, second possession, nothing really special. He had a weird kind of step up and jump throw to Kittle. It was an awkward play. The throw to Debo. Now, there was a lot of debate about on the touchdown pass to Debo. This is the 3rd possession of the game. Everyone remembers this play. That he, did he throw the ball short of the sideline intentionally to avoid the safety? I don't know. Herb Street said he did. I don't know if he did or not. But go back and watch that play. I took a screenshot of it, but it's not going to do it justice. Go back and watch that play. Go back and watch the Debo play. Not the replay, not replay angles, the live play. The way that Purdy moves in the pocket is unbelievable. He has to be a top 3 pocket feel guy. I mean, this is going to sound crazy, but it feels like, I mean, it feels like the best quarterbacks in their prime. I hesitate to say that, obviously, but that's what it feels like. Just his feel for the pocket is, this word gets overused, but it is elite. And it's not elite today. I think it might just be historically elite. When I just, in my head, close my eyes and think about the way the best quarterbacks of the last 25 years move in the pocket, feel pressure in the pocket, what Purdy does so well. And the reason he runs so far backwards is in part because of his size and his arm. He needs to create distance between himself and the pass rusher in order to give himself time to make a play, right? Because he's not 6'4". So he creates all this space for himself, but he also does it, if you watch that play, he does it in short areas too. And that pocket was not great. That pocket, he got pushed a little bit from the right. And so he just kind of moves to the right a little bit, but doesn't leave the pocket completely, and just creates a little space to make that throw and still delivered it on time. You know, maybe a clean pocket. He's able to cut that ball loose a little bit earlier because he doesn't have to sidestep. But honestly, this is going to sound crazy. I get chills at how well he moves in the pocket because it's just so special. It is so special. And we can talk about completion percentages, touchdown interception ratios, efficiencies, all of that stuff. The way he moves in the pocket, I thought his anticipation was his best skill. His pocket movement might actually be even better. It's unbelievable to me. A player of his age, how well he moves, how well he feels his way around. If you watch college football, you just know, and even if you watch young quarterbacks in the NFL, guys leave the pocket at the first hint of pressure all of the time, way too soon. The key is for the ball to just come out quickly. But it can't always happen that way. And that play, the ball did come out pretty quickly, but the pass rush got to him even faster. I mean, he is, I really don't want to be hot takey here. It feels like Rodgers in the pocket. When I just like, who are the best guys at staying in the pocket, feeling their way around the pocket, and making a play? And Aaron has the benefit of a rocket arm and way more experience. You know, he, by this point of Aaron's career, he was not playing. But it's just, I think it's his greatest trait. It's really just crazy. So he hit that play. He hits. The funny thing about I'll move on from that play. The funny thing about some of the plays with Ayuk, what did Ayuk finish with today? 2 catches? But the ones they hit feel so easy. Like, they hit them and you go, oh, you should be able to do this 10 more times today, right? Like, what's the problem here? Why aren't there more of these? How many did he have today? 2? My guess is 2 for 30. 2 for 37. Okay. But God, when Brock, both balls, and you know, Ayuk found space, but both throws were absolute dime pieces. He had a little sidearm throw to Kittle that was nice. He had a first down run on 2nd and 7 that was nice. The pylon throw. I think the underrated part, the pylon throw I talked about, I gave Kittle a lot of credit for the catch, rightfully so. The 3rd down on their 3rd red zone trip, they'd already settled for 2 field goals. Front right pylon. Go back and watch that play again. What you'll notice is Purdy has to double clutch that throw. And so, like the Jennings throw I mentioned earlier, he's not getting a full step into that throw. And he put it, I mean, he had like, you know, a 12-inch window he could put that football with a guy kind of in his face on a double clutch. And he did it. Another great throw. Oh, he had a sidearm throw. Ayuk had a catch on a sidearm throw that was really nice, and Brendel got called for a hold. I don't mean to go throw by throw, but he just had some really special plays. in this game. 3rd and 9 late. He had a Garoppolo level throw. I don't know what that was. It was a big moment in the game. And this is where, if you're going to nitpick, it's not even nitpick. As his career goes on, and we're still early in it, they almost got into this position today. They didn't. So we didn't get to see it. They got into this position last week. They didn't win in this spot. Real late game pressure drives, right? Like, you just want to, that's one thing we haven't seen a lot of. We've seen some people, every time I say that, people are like, oh, well, what about the Raider game on New Year's 2 years ago? It's like, yeah, okay. Fine, whatever. But they didn't get that comeback drive against the Rams to win the game. They didn't get the comeback drive against the Cardinals to win the game. They were almost in position to do it today. They definitely had a drive late where there was a lot of pressure, and they basically, I think they went 3 and out or close to it. So we're still waiting on that, right? Like, Niners down 6, 3 minutes left. What do you do? Niners up 6. They score a touchdown. They take a lead. You're down 1. You got to drive down and win the game. What do you do? It's not that I'm not saying he's never done it. Like, you're going to be able to find example. But today just felt like late. All right. There's a lot of time left. They may go down and score. Are you going to be able to go put this game away? They did it on the Garendo drive, but the drive before, they didn't. And they never got down, and so it didn't have to happen. But, I just feel obligated to say it because I'm thinking it. And some people will interpret that as being picky on Brock. It's not. It's just a reality. They got to show that. Like, you want to get confident with that. But, I mean, we're going over the top, like, not over the top. He did some amazing special things today. In addition, Steve Largent was the name I was looking for earlier. Thank you. I watched a lot of NFL films on Steve Largent. He used to track the ball here to here. It was really cool. NFL films. I loved watching Steve Largent. And then I go to Google and be like, oh, that team sucked. They were terrible. But hey, the highlights are sweet.